Hi everyone, I'm Dave Giancola, joined again by Mike Trossel for another U.S. Open Classic finish. The year is 2006 and Phil Mickelson seems poised to finally win his elusive U.S. Open at Winged Foot, having finished, believe it or not, runner-up in 3 of the previous 7 U.S. Opens.
Yeah, Dave, Phil had his share of close calls, but a third round 69 vaulted him into a share of the lead with unheralded Englishman Kenneth Ferry. After 3 bogeys late in the front 9, Mickelson's lead had evaporated, bringing other contenders, including Scotland's Colin Montgomerie, 2003 champion Jim Furyk, and Australian Geoff Ogilvy, back into the mix.
It certainly was a wild finish on the 18th hole, but we'll get started on the par 4 11th with Mickelson looking to retake the lead.
Phil Mickelson on the tee, iron in hand. Just want to get it down there about 230, 40 yards. Fairway slopes severely from the players right to left. Now will that stay?
That's a good spot.
Yep, that's fine. Intermediate cut of rough, good angle.
Oh, this is like a 1.5 stroke swing if he doesn't make this, Gary, from where he drove it.
Well, you had to be thinking have a good chance to make birdie, and now a very tough putt for par. Dottie, one that I have seen player after player misread. I know it looks like it wants to go left, but it just doesn't do much.
Gary, at this point, it's a lot about attitude, isn't it? And Ogilvy early days will tell you that he struggled with a bit of a hot temperament.
I think he's got to that this is the flattest part of this green and not to get overly caught up with the back to front overall.
Ooh, he hit a good putt.
That really crossed across.
That really did, John. That one broke more than most of the ones I've seen today.
Probably was just a little longer. Maybe that's what it was, huh? You haven't had that many off the right edge of the green.
Right off the edge of the green, that's right.
Gee, that was a good stroke. I think he hit it right on the button.
Well, a bogey at what has been the easiest par 4, or second easiest par 4 today. And now a 4-way tie for the lead. So we go up to 13.
And Jim Furyk finds himself tied for the lead, and this for par. He's backed off 3 times.
Really? Just,
yes.
You think because of the read or just what?
No, it's not his normal, you know, get up over it and then back off. He did it twice more.
He's playing a good break outside right.
He does what's necessary to get comfortable and then knocks it in.
How about Furyk, Murph? He was 5 back just 4 holes ago. Now he's tied. Can anyone say Hale Irwin 74 plus 7? Who knows where we're headed here?
Could be the old Ken Venturi adage, first one in the clubhouse, you know. It really could.
Well, there's a guy named Ryuji Imada who's at plus 6 with 3 holes left.
Harrington now for his par. He's 1 shot out of the lead.
Yeah, Bob, that first one in the clubhouse at plus 4 might be a good score. That's sort of what I was alluding to, huh, Bob?
You bet. You just wish you could get there real fast. Little left center and firm. Well done.
Yeah, he's having fun. He's a good guy.
Up to 11.
Second shot for Kenneth Ferry from the right rough.
151 to the hole, and not a particularly good lie.
Kicked it left.
Yeah, just turned it over left, headed toward the bunker.
Worse spots if he's got the lie that he should have.
It's actually makeable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there you see it, sitting very cleanly. All right. right, opportunity for Mickelson here, Roger.
Good angle here, just off the left side of the fairway level lie. Good look at it. It's all about club selection here, isn't it? Distance control.
Oh, we've seen some guys hit it in the bunker. Got to get that line right also.
Yeah, work our way slightly down here where it's still increasing our minimum carry yard.
Roger, he took that one sand wedge out of his bag this week to put the extra 64-degree wedge in there. He's got 112 yards. I wonder if that's an issue at this point.
It'd be hard to imagine him hitting a 60-degree wedge quite this far. Would have to be an awfully big one. This has to be the gap wedge, just a little punch at the opening. What a shot.
Very creative. Very creative. Landing at about 8 yards short of the green, letting it bounce on. Up to 12.
Colin Montgomery, is he in the intermediate cut there, Mark? And if so, does he have a chance?
He does have a chance. He's got 258 yards to the front edge. 283 in all, but the difficulty here with this shot, no matter how far right you are, is you've got these trees between you and the hole, and he's going to have to actually go up and over. I can still see a golf bag up on the side of the green up there, so he's obviously waiting for the green to clear.
I'll tell you one thing, if you don't have a clear, good yardage, there are a lot of problems around this green that you do not want to mess with. So going for this green in 2 is, even though it's downwind, you could really get a tough lie in the rough, and it's hard to get it close, hitting it over that ridge and stopping it where the hole location is.
Well, there's that tree sticking out there on the fairway.
He cannot really even see the green. I'm about halfway up here toward the green, and I can tell that he can't see the green. That's why he keeps coming over the left-hand side of the fairway.
So you got to go right over the left side of the top of that tree?
I think so, because, you know, he hits a normal fade and the wind is behind, but also coming a little bit from the left.
He's looking left of the tree. Maybe he's going to, well, now he's not aiming left of the tree, but he was looking over there. Stance says right at it. He can hit it high, I know that.
Well, he did.
So bunker on the right side.
That's going to bring the fall off that we're going to get recognized. I can't see the ball yet, but
It's right down there just over the edge, Johnny.
and he's going to have to really have it's a dangerous shot, because there it is. It rolls right off the green about 4 feet past the hole.
Back to 11.
Just a moment ago, Ferry's third out of the bunker. Good lie. Came out lower than he was looking for, Johnny.
That was not a good bunker shot.
All right, we take our look at the 16th, 478-yard dogleg left par 4, back into the wind. Ryuji Amada.
Uh-oh.
That's left of left.
Oh,
Whoa,
that
actually was a bad break, wasn't it, Johnny?
Well, there's a lot of roots over there, though, and also outcroppings of granite, so I'm not sure what that was.
All right, back at 11, Mickelson. Chance for the outright lead.
If this goes, it's going to get loud.
He hit it.
Yes, he did.
He's clear of the field.
Well, Phil Mickelson with the birdie at 11 takes a one-shot lead in the final round of the 106th U.S. Open. It was about this point in his round yesterday where Mickelson turned it on. Let's take one more look. Good line, good speed, good result. Phil Mickelson, the leader in the 106th Open. We'll be back. And while we were away, Kenneth Ferry for par at the 11th. Well, knew it right away, and there's a little bit of that emotion that he talks about. We go up to 12.
And Monty's third at the par 5, trying to get it up and down, maybe.
Well, I'm sure he saw that drop off. You can't tell on your screen, folks, but I'm telling you, just past the hole, it runs right off the green into the bunker. I mean, literally just now he's got to deal with it on the next one. That's why he chunked it. I'm sure the last minute he said, don't hit it long.
All right, after Mickelson posted the birdie at 11, the board at 18.
Look at that. It's funny to see no red, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But a red 3 gets Mickelson to +3 and in the lead by himself with 7 holes left. Now over 12. Long birdie try for Monty, Mark.
And Johnny is absolutely right. He can't afford to get it racing by the hole at all.
So I figured he'd probably cozy it down there. This is very dangerous. If he hits it, if he'd hit the bunker 6 feet past the hole, it'd have gone right off the green, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Over to 14.
And Jim Furyk second. Hole playing completely differently today. Downwind, this from 138 yards. Wants it to bite, and that's why it landed right by the hole. Not a bad birdie position, however.
That's the customer Phil's got to worry about.
Yes, sir.
Now over 12. Vijay Singh has this birdie to pull within 1 and join Furyk and Monty at +4.
Vijay drove the ball in the left rough and had to lay up, but as you were saying before, Johnny, there's just so much going on around this green that going for it in 2 shots is, you know, really doesn't pay off that often, I don't think.
This is quick and a little bit of slice, isn't it?
It is very quick.
Singh looking for his 4th major title.
So get him within 1 shot of Phil.
I watched him walking up to the green. There's a leaderboard right behind it, but he did not look at it that I could see.
There's a little brow there, and it kicks it left. Now it goes back right. There are a lot of little double breakers here. That was a tough putt to read.
Ogilvy with a bad drive, forced to lay up at this 12, Dottie.
This might be the worst lie I've seen all week.
There's his Aussie support there. Second shot on the intermediate cut up there. Not bad from where it was.
That was a good shot, and it's a good angle.
14.
And the second shot of Harrington now from 126 yards.
Big drive, huh, Bob?
Huge drive, Johnny. The ball's just running down the fairway. That's a beauty. Importantly, putting back into the hill very slightly. The little roar you heard was Steve Stricker at 13.
This is a try for a rare birdie, huh?
A good one, I'll say. Still putting very well.
So Mickelson, the leader by himself by 1 over Furyk, looking for his 2nd U.S. Open title. Colin Montgomery looking for the 1st major, and Australia's Jeff Ogilvy just a shot back as well. And everybody feeling the pressure coming into this championship Sunday, Johnny, but there was one man who everybody expected to win. Last year at Pinehurst, everybody expected Retief Goosen to win. He had the 3-shot lead heading into the final day. We know what happened there, but Mickelson taking the lead by himself here with 7 holes left. What do you think?
Well, he's 17-5 with the lead on the last day, and in all 3 majors he's won, he's had the lead going into the last day, so there's never one actually coming from behind in a major. So the bottom line is I think he's feeling pretty good, especially with that birdie he just made. But he has not made a darn birdie on a par 5. In fact, he's made 2 bogeys and all the rest pars, which is crazy that he's leading the Open with that kind of play on a 5 par.
Well, there's Furyk over at 14 to tie for the lead, Murph.
And a birdie putt that, if he were to get a little brave, can just run away so fast. If you miss it, it's really quick. The last 3 feet by the hole. Very slightly uphill for the first 10 or 12 feet.
Looking out to the right, huh, Murph?
Yes, he is.
He is one tough customer. He's a guy I want on my team. I'll tell you that.
took a hop. There goes another hop. My goodness.
I'm not sure he read that real well, but it's a good par, isn't it?
0-12. Yes, it is.
Tee shot for Mickelson, a good one, and he's got a very, very good chance of getting it on in 2.
Or the 5 par is going to continue to haunt him. He's looking at it sort of like, I don't know.
It went into the primary cut there.
And he knows, well, I can make birdie here. You know, maybe it's a blessing. Maybe he'll lay it up. None of this try to explode a fairway wood.
Maybe.
Just hit a 8-iron and a wedge and knock in a 10-footer.
That's against his nature. 13 tee.
And Colin Montgomery on the tee.
Vijay Singh put it in the left bunker, Murph. Not a very good spot.
Left bunker is shallow. He can, if he gets flat.
And
That's not a
Monty,
good
once
spot.
again, just like at number 10, way short and way right.
Yep, somewhat of a miscue for sure. I agree with that. Leaves himself a long, long bunker shot there. So Mickelson's got the smile right now.
Nine players within 3 shots of the lead in the way this golf course is playing. Any one of them can win it to 13.
And the bunker shot of Colin Montgomery. And boy, that's a good one from down there.
That's a deep bunker, isn't it,
Yes,
Bob?
it is, and leaves himself about 4 feet. And up at 14 just a moment ago, Padraig Harrington for birdie. Right in the bottom, Patty moves himself to 1 shot in back of Phil Mickelson.
It's getting pretty interesting here.
Johnny, I think he's laying up.
That's all he could do. He didn't have an option to do anything else that time.
Well, as long as Jim Mackay didn't say that to him, then he would try to do something dashing. That's a good shot. Good. That's a good position too. That gives him a good chance for birdie. Just hit a great wedge shot to make birdie the hole before. Maybe we can do it again.
Back to VJ at 13.
Just a bit of a splash right out of there. Well done. He got too far up in the bunker and didn't have much of a shot, did he?
Nope.
Up at 16 a moment ago, Ryuji Yamada's 3rd. Remember, he drove it left. Forced to lay up to this position. Has yet to make a bogey today.
Yeah, he made the cut right on the number, Gary.
Yeah, fine round of 69 yesterday, and he'll have a downhill tricky putt to try to save par.
So
Back to 13.
it's a good comeback, isn't it?
VJ having a little bit of a walk around. VJ has putted the ball very solidly today, but he's had a lot of these, Johnny, from 5 to 8 feet.
Yes, he has. He putted really well last week. Gary had a stat on putts inside 10 feet. What was it? It was crazy.
I think he made like 53 of 56, something like that, Johnny. It was like 94% of his putts 10 feet or less.
That is off the charts.
Well, the problem today, guys, has really not been the putter for VJ. It's been his long game. Hasn't driven the ball well, and he's hit some poor iron shots. This one to miss left was not a good shot.
Boy. Costly back to 12.
And Ogilvy to get back into that top spot. Ty Mickelson for birdie. Rough stretch. 3 bogeys last 4 holes.
Awkward putt up and over and down. Yep, maybe the open pressure's getting to him a little.
He remains at +4, 1 back. 16.
Mata for par, downhill, one that will really scoot to the right. Got to hang on. So that makes him +7 for the championship. And Johnny, barring a miracle finish, to think he's probably done.
Yeah, he had to have that one.
Back to 13.
And Monty certainly needs this one here, Mark.
Well, it was a beautiful bunker shot, like you said, Murph. Be a great 3.
Love to capitalize on good shots, good saves.
Look at that little stride, Murph, after making that. And it wasn't too long ago where there wasn't much confidence or much spring in that man's step at all.
This is a good story right here. I'm not sure if Phil's going to let him have it, but they're going to have, whoever wins is going to have to really step it up because the holes just keep getting harder and harder.
Mickelson's third at the par 5 12th.
144 the hole, and as you said, Johnny, a perfect angle to play at this flag. Wind helping, just a pitching wedge, not even a real full one. I don't believe, just like a quarter pitching wedge for him.
You just cannot hit it at left of the flag at all. Hole high, it'll spin off.
If it gets up,
That'll come back a little further, but
well, if he doesn't win all that homework he did, it'll all be because of the par 5s.
he's got the lead by 1 in a major he's never won, the United States Open. Sometimes when you have to fight the hardest, Johnny, and persevere the most in the toughest golf courses that they dish out at major championships, it's even more rewarding. You felt that back in 1973, and Mickelson wants to feel it for the first time.
Every shot so precious at this point.
Last U.S. Open won with an over par score was Cherry Hills in 1978 when Andy North won at +1. And that's where Mickelson won his U.S. Amateur title.
Does this have it go a little bit to the right, Roger?
it certainly will, John, as it comes up across the crest of the ridge, and then once it gets across, it starts to run away from him and may go back to the left.
There's the right part of it, but I don't think it'll come back like Roger said. Sort of has a little hook and then a flattening. But all in all, he's not thrilled with the 5, but not all that.
Mickelson ends with no birdies on the par 5s.
Just a moment ago, Jeff Ogilvy's 3-iron.
It's only 33 feet wide up there on the top, and it's a very small target. You're seeing guys left, right, with a good reason, Bob. When you're hitting that long a shot uphill, to hit it in that landing strip is not easy.
It is not.
All right, at 15, Padraig Harrington is on the green in regulation, a long way away for birdie, but he's only 1 back. And he's got the only bogey-free round going today. He had 11 straight pars before the birdie at 12, and then the last one at 14.
This is a tough hole location right here. He's putting it up onto a plateau. It's coming out of that low. Now it's coming up the face of that, and then it's going to start. That's pretty good speed. It's a good putt.
Over to 14.
Money in trouble, Mark Rolfing.
Well, he is. He's in the second cut of primary rough, Murph, but it's not the worst lie in this taller rough that I've seen. He's got 166 yards to the hole.
Took a mighty slash at it. Pretty fantastic to get it on from there. Very fortunate when you can do that, as well as good. And VJ now.
Looking right down the throat of the opening of this green, 159 straight downwind.
Just hit a pull. It probably was in between clubs there and got the ball hole high, however. Over to 15.
Furyk will take his birdie try here. Try and tie Mickelson. 7 players within 3 shots of the lead right now.
This will go to the right. It's going up and over. There's the left. Did he hit it? Not even close, Jim. Ouch.
Man.
Ouch. That was almost scary short.
So now he's got a lot left for par. You heard a roar earlier at 13.
I tell you, these Aussies are good from the bunkers. Now, do you say that was lucky or unlucky? I'm not sure. That's close to going in when they hit that squarely into the stop itself. It could run right down. Usually imparts a little backspin on the ball. That's a par. Mickelson now back on the tee. Choosing 3-iron.
He hit a really fine shot yesterday. Remember, right into the heart of the green. You want to use that same memory on this shot. Pushed it.
Oh, no, this shot going left, going well left. Bunker.
Well, he's got a tough shot. He's going to need that 64-degree wedge that he's carrying.
Furyk for his par now at 15.
Boy, does that hurt, doesn't it? Got it just underneath the hole there.
Kind of the last guy in the field, Johnny, that you'd expect to just leave one that short at this stage. He's only got 3 holes left. He's only 2 shots back, but that was just a tough one to swallow.
Kenneth Ferry now also choosing 3-iron. He's lost it to the right on this hole the last 2 days.
Hole hasn't been good to him. He's bogeyed it twice, Murph.
Yeah.
Swung
This
aggressively.
ball starts right. It's trying to draw it the very right side of the green.
Well, he avoided the right stuff, if you will, but way short.
Talked about stretches here at Winged Foot where you take advantage, and then a stretch where you just got to hang on. 13 through 18, the final 6 holes here. Mickelson 3 under on this tough stretch.
And now we'll go to 14 and Monty. Some movement in the back here. Just asking for the people to
Tough
hold
putt
on.
to read here, Murph.
Yeah.
I think it's about 35 feet. It's definitely going left at first, probably for the first half of the putt, and then it'll straighten out.
Hard to judge the speed here, Mark, because the last 3 feet is really fast. Surprised him. He thought it would come back right in the bottom there, as Mark Rolfing was telling you. It just looks like it's got to go left. So he's left himself a 3.5 footer there for par.
Is this U.S. Open nervous, Bob? We're seeing a lot of little hiccups here.
You bet. Starting to happen.
Well, here's where it really starts, Johnny. This 478-yard par 4 dog leg left back into the wind.
Beautiful shot for a draw, isn't it?
Beautiful shot. Well, people back on the tee like it. They should. Right center of the fairway. This hole, the tee was repositioned, moved farther to the left and back some 20 yards to increase the angle of the dog leg.
And into the eyes of Vijay Singh and his birdie putt, Mark.
Yeah, you get the sense he needs something to jumpstart his round again here now.
You gotta hit it if you're gonna jump start it.
Like it went out to the right as soon as he started it. Not going to come back from there.
This 106 U.S. Open is being brought to you by Microsoft, software for the people-ready business, and by Wachovia, knowing the score made possible with Wachovia.
There's a lot of people out there, Bob.
Boy, it's fantastic, isn't it? We'll go back to 13 before Monty putts. And Roger Mulvey, you're on the scene.
Kenneth Ferry first to putt. And this about 85 feet uphill. Crossing a bit of ridge and steeply uphill, certainly the first half of the putt. Moves some to his left, I would think, overall.
Obviously just off the green, right?
Just off the fringe, yeah, just off the edge.
Look at this.
Pretty good putt right there.
Nice judgment there. Now back to Monty at 14. He's been very good with these.
Well,
Well, those little putts are so treacherous when the greens get fast and furious. We'll go back to 13 now and watch Phil.
that was Colin Montgomery's first 3-putt of the championship.
And the ball's going to come out and land on a downslope. He's really going to have to get a lot of spin on this ball.
I don't know how you get it any closer from there except to hit the flagstick as Ogilvy did. Montgomery did make his bogey at 14. So a 3-putt, as Johnny Miller was talking about earlier, he didn't have any. Now Colin Montgomery has a 3-putt. Take another look at Monty's putt. Strikes it, seems to be going pretty well. Just a little bit of a bobble there. See if his head moves.
Yeah, his chin moved.
Yeah, he could have been coming with it a bit, which would bring the putter up. That can put some spin on the ball.
Get it back. Right away.
And back to 13 now. And Phil doing his work, Roger.
And the putt, I think, is going to have to come to his left some, isn't it? From here, he's been studying this pretty intensely.
Yeah, if anything, I would believe it's pretty darn straight. I wouldn't put it out of the hole, I can tell you that.
Well, if anything, maybe inside right.
If anything.
This is a huge putt.
It's just a bit slower than the players are reading it mostly. Just can't get him out of the hole. It was so straight.
It was straight, wasn't it? Could have made it inside.
Yep.
But
well, a costly tee ball leaves him in the bunker, and just couldn't recover from that position.
That leaves us, Murph, with a 3-way tie for the lead at +4. And it gives Monty and Furyk a little more breathing room now, just one back. Speaking of Furyk at 16.
He's hit a good tee shot, got it in the left side of the fairway.
that brings the tree into play a little, though, doesn't it?
It does, Johnny. It does. The hole's cut toward the right side of the green. And, you know, even though this innocent little hole location, John, we've seen just 3 birdies here today.
That's amazing. It's very narrow there. So it is only like 30 feet wide.
That's about right, yes. Dottie, you're down there.
195 yards back up into the breeze.
This tree we're talking about is right here, folks. That thing is right there.
That tree is 28 yards short of the putting surface.
Well, that is not bad. Been there hole high. I've seen a lot of putts made from there, but hole is playing as the 2nd toughest on the course. We go to 14.
Jeff Ogilvy now on the longest drive of the day here. He's left himself 123. Oh,
gee,
bad shot. Bad shot from 123 yards.
That's Harrington's ball on the way at 16, and that just kind of filters through the tree there left. That was a pull. So Harrington will have a little work. He's going to remain at 4 over. Another look.
See if he comes over it.
Definitely had it going left of where he wanted it. No doubt about that. I don't know if he was trying to play a draw or not, Johnny, but
that could have hit limbs and gone anywhere.
Yeah,
He's
it could.
lucky it went through the leaves.
That's exactly right. We go to 14.
And back on the 14th tee, we'll get a good look down the fairway. It's dogleg left. There's a big fairway bunker on the player's left to carry that fairway bunker and get out into the fairway. There you see the fairway bunker. A nice draw would be the shot to call for.
This can go a mile if a guy hits it well, huh? Just like Ogilvy did.
That's exactly what's happening today, downwind. Earlier in the week, the first 2 days, the wind was right back in the player's face.
This was a heck of a hole earlier in the week.
Straight over that bunker, Johnny. It's about 275 to get free into the fairway.
It's a tough angle, isn't it? Tough angle to play to hit this fairway.
It's not very wide. It's about 25 yards wide up there. If you're a drawer of the ball, as Kenneth is, I think you'd be a lot more comfortable standing right there.
Tee shot challenging the bunker.
Carried right into the intermediate cut and releases in the fairway. Beautiful. Up to the green now, and Jeff Ogilvy from the heavy fringe. Boy.
Sort of a wishy-washy type swing, don't you think? I think those are better off more of staccato, kind of firm-wristed little pitch.
Mickelson now. Fade called for.
Oh, he swung hard at
it. And unfortunately, into the first primary cut. Boy, he's got to figure out that driver, that's for sure. Fairways hit, look at that round 4, 2 fairways out of 10. Back to 16.
Harrington is taking a long look. Dottie, you had a chance to look at the lie?
I did, Gary, and it's not very good. It's really uniform around the ball, but it is really thick. Just 6 yards before he gets to the putting surface. I don't know that he can land this much further than the edge and expect to get it close.
Slightly uphill, but more across the green, so the ball will want to run down toward the front of the putting surface.
It's a very simplistic green, though, where that hole is. I mean, there's nothing tricky about that.
No, and Furyk will have a relatively easy birdie putt in. There's nothing crazy. It's just a tough lie.
That's a good call, Dottie. He just flat chunked it. That might roll off the edge, huh? Or maybe not. He's trying to. Surprising, Dottie, that he hit it that poorly, or?
It was pretty bad, Johnny.
Back at 15.
Check in with Colin Montgomery, 1 off the lead. Just on the edge there, it looks like.
Well, that's about a perfect a drive as you can hit on this hole, to be honest with you.
As far down as you can get it. You've got that little creek that runs out in front there about 300 yards down, so the player's laying up before it.
It's a daunting shot, though. Look at that, folks. You got that tip of that bunker right at the base of the flag. It's way back in the corner, and spin works against you unless you fly it all the way to the hole.
This is from 135, and he got a lot of club on it.
There's that little, well, he got it inside the little cup there. It might come back.
It's going to come back a little bit.
Yeah, it comes back quite a bit. That's a good shot, and the drive is the key, was the key there.
Good look at this hole, Johnny. The par 4 15th decision time off the tee, and how you're going to play it with that fairway going hard to the left.
Yeah, it's a very small fairway, slanted downhill right to left, so it really plays narrow. You can get it down where Colin, you can go in with the short iron, but you can see the flagstick is way in the back right there. There's a lot of tilt, and watch how the balls run off that back right and run down there, but then of course the balls are in the corner, come to the edge of the green.
All right, from 15 to 16.
Furyk's birdie putt, chance to tie the lead.
Well, your heart just leaps.
Yeah, Jimmy! Strike, Jimmy!
Back to 14.
And Ogilvy now for his par. This has to be put outside the right edge. Oh, boy.
Can you believe how fast that turned? It looked really good.
Looked like it was a foot from the hole and just dove left.
I thought he had made it, didn't you? Well, you know the putt better than anybody.
If it doesn't hop like that or whatever it did to get offline that quickly, Johnny.
He had good pace on it to hold the
he'll-
line.
Well, this has the feeling of a Game 7 here at Wingfoot, and tomorrow night it all comes down to Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final. One game for everything. Stanley Cup Final presented by Sprint tomorrow night, 8 Eastern Time, 5 Pacific on NBC.
How about the NBA and the NHL? You win at home, that's it, huh? This year.
14.
Ogilvy for bogey now. He won't forget this one from 123 yards. That's an expensive bogey. Up to 16.
Par putt for Harrington. To remain at 4 over. Is it firm enough?
Oh, got a huge hop halfway there. Huge hop.
Come on, Jimmy! Yeah, it feels in there tight.
That's a pretty good little roar there.
Yeah, Harrington bogeys 16, drops him to 5 over.
The roar was Phil from the primary cut. Slashes through. Absolutely incredible to be able to get that ball to do that coming out of that heavy rough. That's a big shot there. Real big shot. We'll be back just a moment.
Straight up 6 o'clock here on the East Coast. The 106 U.S. Open Championship coming down to the final few holes. Phil Mickelson looking for another part of the American Slam, already with a PGA Championship and 2 Masters. Just a few holes left to decide it. Jim Furyk, who's already won it, 1 back, and this man looking to tie Mickelson for the lead at 15.
Only 1 birdie on 15 today, Mike Weir. Can he read it right? Nope. That is a very unusual little spot back there. These guys, I don't think, practiced at all to that hole location.
3 holes left for Monty. 14.
Kenneth Ferry for a birdie. Back up the hill. He had a good shot. It just released and went all the way down. Nicely judged there.
Just a moment ago at 16, 170-yard second shot for Steve Stricker. Good clean strike. He likes it. Be right. And it is. So Steve Stricker will have a short birdie putt and a chance to get it to 6 over. Back at 14.
And Johnny, Phil is defying our feeling that you have to hit fairways.
Yeah, 2 fairways. 3 birdies today were all on fairways missed. And this is huge, though. This will give him that 2-shot spread. And with his talent and experience and his momentum winning the last 2 majors, you know, it's not a gimme, but this is really an important putt to spread himself from the field.
Well, Johnny, it's not a gimme, but it's not a hard one either. There's very little break in this, maybe inside the hole on the right center.
Are the greens getting a little bit, you know?
A little bit. You don't want it to bounce offline, but you need to hit the putt squarely.
What a birdie.
And what another roar for the fans in New York. He's heard it before, Murph. We've talked about it all championship week long. It's never ended in a victory in this championship, but a 2-shot lead with 4 to play.
Well, he's got him whipped to a froth, doesn't he? They're excited. Look at him. Look at these guys.
Trying to become just the second player in the modern era to win 3 majors in a row.
Take another look at that stroke. That was nothing but solid. He knew he was going to hit it firm going back up the hill.
And
keep it in the hole. Yep.
And playing +1 golf today, Murph. You talked about it, hitting 2 fairways, Johnny. I have to bring it up. Earlier in the telecast, you said the guy that's gonna win this championship is gonna hit the most fairways. But Mickelson is proving today that he's just got more creativity and more magic in his bag with all the short shots and artistry shown from the rough. It's been an amazing show.
You're right.
Ogilvy now at 15, up ahead from 155.
It's just so hard to get it. That'll funnel back down. There's that little cup there. We saw Colin get it up there, but that's not the hardest putt in the world. But it's just a tough read to make. You can come close, but to make it is almost luck.
Ogilvy +4 the last 7 holes at one time, the sole leader in this championship. We go to 16.
And the birdie putt for Steve Stricker, just right edge. No problem for the man who 5 times has been in the top 10 of the putting stats on the PGA Tour. That moves Steve Stricker to 6 over. We go back to 15.
Well, it's definitely not a driver unless he wants to carry the creek.
Talk about a ribbon of fairways.
236.
The narrowest here at Wingfoot.
Ball's obviously going. I don't know how much help we're going to get back here, back in these trees, but obviously like that. You like 4 iron? I was thinking 3. I mean, if you're interested in getting the ball down. I don't want it to go over too much because then it just runs on. Okay, well, there you go. I like 4. By all means, you got it.
Has there been a course that has been broken down more than Wingfoot by Bones and Mickelson?
Well, the 2 of them are real, you know, they're technicians. They really know what they're doing. You can see that one little creek. It's really the only bit of water on this golf course that could come into play, and it really doesn't unless you're really sort of crazy.
Just 22 yards wide, that fairway down there at the end.
22 yards when you're nervous. That is a small target. He's looking at it like it's not a gimme.
Well, this is down the left center. We'll see what kind of bounce it gets when it gets over the crest of the hill.
Well, that's why he hit the 4 iron, so it wouldn't run down through there, and that's a pretty good leave, I think. He's got the ball below his feet on a downhill side hill lie, which is not an easy shot when you got to hit it to a right hole location. It requires a draw off a slice lie.
Up ahead to 17.
Jim Furyk second, 178 yards, back center hole location.
Tough to get it back there, huh?
Yeah, Johnny, only 2 birdies here all day.
You look like he
going a little left, but there's a little sideboard there.
Yeah,
that may just come down. All right.
I don't think he had a clue that it was going to do that. He'd given up on it.
I think it was a lot, turned out a lot better than he thought.
Somebody could get it close by pulling it by accident long and left and having it run around there. He almost did it. Did he?
Well, same exact yardage, 178 yards. Got to be careful the toe of the club doesn't get caught by the 3.5-inch rough. Right on the crease.
His swing plane doesn't make the crease worse, or it can go right along it.
I think it right along it.
Yeah, that's
high and headed right.
We went a little deep, and that will go underground.
All right, guys.
So Harrington struggling here at the finish. Back to the 16th. Montgomery's second shot. Good tee shot, right side of the fairway. 183 yards to the hole.
It's a heck of a tee shot under pressure, Gary. It's narrow out there.
It is just 24 yards wide here at 16.
Birdie would be nice about now.
This one looks pretty good here.
Oh, will it stay there? Will it stay? Yes, it will. Okay.
Well, he's getting a taste of it, isn't he?
Yes, he is. You got to give him credit, Johnny. I think he's handling it very well. Hasn't been in this position in a major championship in quite some time.
Yeah, guys, he's had tastes of it, but bitter sweet in the end. Here's a guy that used to be a perennial top player in the world. After 12 straight years in the top 6 on the European money list, fell to 28, fell out of the top 50 in the world golf rankings. Thought about it, thought about retiring for a while. It got so bad, his game did. Look at that, 99 career starts in the U.S. without a win. Things started turning around, though, the last couple of years. Second in the British Open.
Well, he had a taste there at the British, so be a great win there if he could get it this year. If he could just win one major, you know, for Colin, that would be big. Okay, important putt here.
15, Ogilvy for birdie.
Up and over, very slow. That'll get there. That was a good putt. He's hit some quality putts. Putt he hit at 14 was really well struck, and then this one he thought had a chance.
A little bit of a Tiger Woods type of feel to this final day here. Everybody else kind of leaving the leaderboard at the top, and now it's Mickelson who's
doing it. Sort of, yeah. That little wedge that Mickelson hit at 11, that was the key shot, I thought. That little chip pitching wedge.
Ogilvy stays 2 behind with 3 holes to play. We go up to the green at 17.
And Padraig Harrington once again taking a long look at this little chip shot. Dottie, you've had a chance to look at the lie?
I did, and it's a little bit better than he had at the 16th. It's actually clear in front of the ball, but he does have a pretty good sized clump right behind it and going away from him once he gets the ball on the putting surface.
He's pitching the ball a little bit back uphill, which give him the luxury of perhaps being a little more aggressive with the shot.
I can tell you there's more brown grass between he and the hole than there is green grass. It's getting a little toasty out here.
I think he's taking dead aim, Dottie, or just trying to make par?
Well, I think he'd take par and take his chances at 18.
A lot of practice swings.
Not bad. We go back to 15.
And there's that downhill lie for Mickelson from the intermediate cut.
This shot here, if I was caddying for him, I'd say, hey, this is not a birdie hole. Nobody's birdieing it. And I got a tough lie. Just get the ball 30 feet underneath the hole to the left by the left edge of the TV tower.
It's from 176.
Just about right
He
there.
might have been listening to you, John.
That'd be the first one I'm right on all day, I think, with him.
He's a tough guy to predict. Now Colin Montgomerie
at 16 for birdie.
It's got just a little bit of hook to it is all, Gary. It should be a makeable putt here and a big one for Colin.
5th in the field in putts. Greens in regulation. There's a good one. Ooh.
Boy, he knows how important that was, huh, Gary?
As though he hit it right where he was looking. We go up to 17. Furyk for birdie.
Another guy who knows just how important this is.
No, never a chance. That was low, low, low.
Phil's dodging bullets.
Yes, he is. No one can make a putt at the moment. The lead is 2 for Phil Mickelson. He's take another look at the birdie at 14. Just a very solid stroke. Gives him the 2-shot lead. And you see the New York fans, they're behind him all the way. We'll be back to the U.S. Open in a moment.
Well, on his way up to the 15th green, Roger, we heard Phil Mickelson say this is a tough 2-putt.
And he's right. This is about 35-footer up over a ridge. Once it crosses a ridge, it's going downhill away from him to the right.
He goes right in this part, though. Shoots just a little bit. The guys have left it short. And I can't say that was real bad, but that is knee knocker time, huh, Roger?
They all are now, Johnny.
Yeah, but you don't want to have that length too many times.
Trying to hang on to his 2-shot lead, 17.
While we were away, talk about a knee knocker. Harrington for par. No. So bogeys at 16 and 17 for Harrington. Is headed in the wrong direction, but the MetLife Blimp Snoopy 1 is headed in the right direction. He's flying high above Wingfoot Golf Club, providing us with these wonderful aerial views of the 106th U.S. Open Championship. So we go back to 15.
Kenneth Ferry to remain at +6.
Just doesn't seem like the ball wants to go in here at this hole. It really wobbles a lot, Roger, down there. Have you noticed that?
Well, I've noticed that on a lot of greens, John. It's the first time I've seen this one, so I can't speak as to how it's putted all day.
It's going to be his 5th bogey, not a single birdie for the co-leader with Mickelson. That was the unlikely duo in the final group here, but it's been the man ranked 2nd in the world who's taken charge over the man ranked 102nd in the world. But he needs this par putt to keep that 2-shot cushion, Raj.
Pretty similar to the birdie putt, huh, Roger?
Yep, it really is, John. Not dissimilar at all. All about the nerves and hitting it squarely, hitting a solid putt.
Well, that ball went in by about a 1/16 of an inch. That could have lipped
Just
out
on the left side.
I thought he'd maybe spun it out of the top edge, Roger.
He's got some beefy par 4s down the stretch here with a 2-shot lead in the championship that he's never won. And we go to one of those right now, the 450-yard par 4. 18th, Jim Furyk has arrived here at +5, and he's in that tie for 2nd now with Montgomery and Ogilvy. They're the closest to Mickelson right now.
He already started his pre-shot routine once and has pulled the yardage book out now 3 times.
He's got the 3-wood on, Dottie.
Yeah, I think it's a smart play. A little bit easier to shape, even though it is into the breeze.
Well, it's that 282 that he was worried about with the drive. With the 3-wood, he doesn't have to draw it. He just hit it right at the bunker, left side of the bunker, and he'll have no problem.
Right, it's 291 just into that bunker, so this is a really good play.
I know he's thinking, if I could somehow birdie this hole.
That's a beauty.
If I can get to +4, I think he's thinking right now.
Had a terrible bounce.
Yep, and it rolls almost up against the fringe, and I think he might be barely okay, but that is not sitting real great. It's sort of sitting like into the grain.
18, 2nd toughest hole this week. We go over to 16.
And Jeff Ogilvy from the 2nd cut of the primary rough, 176 yards to the hole. Just hacking it down the fairway.
He hopes it's in the fairway.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it's getting a lot of run, John. It's turning out okay.
Yeah.
A simple little pitch from there, right up the face of the green. Now back on the tee. So if Mickelson can make a couple of good swings with the driver coming home, Johnny.
Yeah, 2 fairways in regulation. He had 1 on the edge, a couple on the edge, but
Dog leg left. This should set up well for him.
he hasn't hit many quality cut shots.
He has, and he's hit more pulls than he's hit quality cut shots.
He's trying to hit a release cut. That's what Rick Smith was saying.
This ball down the right side, not cutting.
Well, it's going to be
it's sitting up
in the primary rough, but you're right. It looks like it's sitting fairly well. Up at 17, Colin Montgomery on the tee. Hole sets up beautifully for him. Moves a little left to right. That's his natural ball flight. But he's overdone it. That's well right of the fairway.
Getting a little extra roll, and it's in the dry stuff.
Up at the green, Steve Stricker with his 3rd. This. is quick.
Made it look easy.
Yeah, he did. Hadn't stopped yet, though, Johnny.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's a big game. That's a tough hole location there.
Yeah, it is.
How many birdies?
2 all day long.
Man.
Up to 18.
Luke Donald for par a moment ago. He was in position somewhat to begin the day, just 5 off the lead. Rolls it in there to stay at +9, so
at no point did he think that was in.
And the Lukes reverberate here through Winged Foot. 16.
Ogilvy's third. Decide how you're going to play it. You're going to carry it onto the green, or you're going to land it short and bounce it up. He plays it very effectively. So hanging there at 5 over. A good chance to save par. His first 6 holes today, -2. His last 9 +4, and it was kind of a trend that was set early today. We saw some good scoring through the first 6 or 7 holes, but a lot of players have struggled since then.
I can't say that anybody has played a great 2006 U.S. Open. I mean, tee to green or been on fire or really dominated, you know, and hit great shots. It just sort of, the course has just sort of pulled everybody down a little. It's a tough course.
Well, we're on our way to the next USGA championship in Newport. That's where Tiger put away his 2nd of his 3 straight U.S. Amateur Championships. It's the women's turn. Don't miss the most celebrated players in the game, including Annika Sorenstam. And yes, Michelle Wie will be there to look to break through with her first win as a professional. It's the U.S. Women's Open. Coverage begins Saturday, July 1st on NBC.
Should be super exciting. The women's game has really come on. That last year's Women's Open I thought was as compelling as any golf of the year.
Birdie Kim holing it out.
Yeah, Morgan Trussell standing there.
Yep. All right, here's Furyk at 18. Last gasps coming up for the guys chasing Mickelson here, and there just hasn't been any birdies at 17 and 18, Johnny. A total of 5 birdies have been made at 17 and 18 today. And as you look at the leaderboard, unless Mickelson backs up, that's what all these guys need.
Yeah, if he can get in at 5, Mickelson could play the last 3 a couple over. There's no doubt about that.
Could. It's always in the cards here.
He's in the rough, Mickelson is. This is not an easy shot with this fringe here, though.
Actually, Johnny, the lie is very good, 184 yards. It's actually just a little bit downgrade.
He doesn't like it for some. Well, maybe he does.
It's headed left.
Hit a hook, huh? Didn't that grass turn the club over or something?
It shouldn't have. I just don't think it was a very good swing at the necessary time.
At the 17th, Steve Stricker for par. Well,
that's sort of an unusual little break there, isn't it?
Yeah, actually moving left. Didn't appear that it would, but Steve Stricker drops back to 7 over. He's closing holes. Not many pars being made. So we go to 18.
And visit the place where Harrington had his undoing yesterday. Padraig Harrington would be tied for the lead right now if not for a triple bogey on this hole yesterday. He's sitting right in the middle of the fairway today, but boy, he wishes he could have that one back yesterday, Johnny.
Yes.
Late in the day when he was just a couple shots off the lead or so.
This hole can be had. That hole location is in a funnel. If you can just hit it in the middle of the green, it'll come right by the hole. It's the historic Bobby Jones hole out position. Last hole, 72nd hole, he made the putt.
Made the 12-footer curling left to righter to tie Al Espinoza after blowing a huge lead here, which shocked a lot of people. Went on to win the playoff the next day.
At the 17th, Colin Montgomery's 2nd out of the right rough. Good news is he's got it on the area where the galleries walked the grass down.
We saw the shot yesterday, didn't we? Wasn't it by Ogilvy or something?
Yes, Jeff Ogilvy hit it yesterday.
Actually, that ball clipped the tree, and I think it helped it. It would have been long.
Well, that's nicely done into the center of the green. Back at 16, Mickelson. How's the lie, Roger?
Well, actually, Kenneth Ferry will be first to play. 187 yards to the hole, just off the edge of the fairway. Good lie.
In the group in front, Jeff Ogilvy was able to knock in that putt for par. He's trying to get that thing to chase up. Just doesn't quite do it.
Still fighting, Gary.
Yes, he is. You got to give him credit, John. I mean,
it's only 5 over today.
That's right. No, nobody gave him a chance either. All right, now Mickelson.
174, got a pretty good lie. It is thick, but sitting up a little bit. Well, this is a pretty good looking shot if it gets up. No.
Well, that bunker beautifully positioned, about 20 yards short of the green.
That just barely went in, didn't it?
Yeah.
That could have bounced straight if it wouldn't hit the bunker.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my word.
That is the worst we've seen all week right there. That will call for all of his short game magic. Up at 17, Jeff Ogilvy on the tee.
Away right, he's pointing Poulter's.
Yeah, that was where he hit it yesterday, and he played the miraculous second shot. Well, these people are seeing a lot of golf balls on the right on 17. So we go back to 18.
Jim Furyk gets out of the bunker and practices the swings. One of the best players you'll find anywhere.
Just a little bit of a downhill lie.
Seen a number of holeouts from Furyk through the years.
Well, you can see he's trying to read the green.
No, he's definitely thinking about making this, Johnny.
He's got that kind of looping swing, Johnny, that you like out of the bunker.
Yeah, it drops it in. Goes out and then in.
Very well done, but the best that Furyk will be able to post is +5.
Well, Mickelson buried under the lip. You know, who knows? Mickelson still got 2 super hard holes if he bogeys 16. He still got 2 super hard holes on 17 and 18. I'm sure Furyk's thinking about that 3-putt he had, though.
So stick around, Jim. Look at that lie, Gary.
Yeah, it is in there deep. I guess the good news, though, Roger, is he's left-handed. He's going to be able to stand in the bunker and not have an awkward stance at all.
Well, absolutely. The ball is pretty buried, though. Not in a good spot.
That 64 degree comes in handy here, guys, because it's sharper edges, doesn't have a lot of bounce to it, so he can really dig here.
It's hard to get the right distance, though, isn't it? He's aiming way left for a pull.
I don't care how sharp the edge is when it's that deep. He swung awfully hard and barely got it out. Up at 17, Montgomery with a lengthy birdie putt. Ball moved pretty hard to the right at the end. How about this one for Colin Montgomery? Oh my goodness, what a birdie.
That's the putt of the championship right there, Gary.
He might be tied for the championship in just a couple of moments with Mickelson's position over at 16, Gary.
I think he's thinking about crying right now.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
He looks very emotional, Johnny.
That's Harrington's ball coming toward the hole for birdie at 18. So he's got a long putt to get +6 on the board. Colin Montgomery putting a charge into this thing.
What a putt.
The M&M boys here at Wingfoot, Monty and Mickelson, could be tied in just a couple of moments. Another look at the Monty putt.
You can see him wiping his nose. I mean, this thing, there's a shot of adrenaline that's gone through his system that he just, almost a grateful feeling, I think, of this opportunity. His caddy's going.
All that disappointment, Oakmont, the playoff with Lauren Roberts and Ernie Els. on a hot, sweltering day at Oakmont, and then in Congressional in '97, where it came unraveled on the 71st hole.
Back at 16, Mickelson choosing the putter from off the green.
Putting through this bit of fringe quite a little bit. It's going to be a tough putt to get to the hole uphill.
Steeply uphill.
He got it there.
Well, Colin Montgomery got a share of the lead.
And Montgomery has a hole coming up that he's talked about before the championship began. I remember Monty remarking that that dog leg left at 18 doesn't set up well for his fade shot, but he's going to have to figure out a way to negotiate it, although he's made fours every day so far at 18.
You know, his wild drives, Gary.
Finally caught up to him on this hole.
Yeah.
All right, bogey 5 at 16. He's 4 over par. We go to 18.
And this to post the +5. If Furyk wants to take another look, he has a habit of backing off, but that's a little different type of back off. He wanted to get one more look from the other side.
He's being extremely deliberate this last hour.
He also took a really good look at the leaderboard. Both he and Fluff Cowan studied it while Harrington was putting. They know exactly what the deal is.
Who knows? This could be a putt for a spot in a playoff.
Well, this moves right, doesn't it, Dottie?
Yes, it does, Johnny.
Well, he's just grinding away, Dottie.
Keep thinking back to that 3-putt by Furyk at 15, which cost him a big bogey, his only bogey this backside.
Wow.
The grinder of all grinders doing his thing here on the 72nd hole of the Open.
Can't afford to have a misread. Man, you could see him grimace on that. That was not that hard of a putt, except for the situation. Just basically, you could hit it left edge or just outside and make it.
+6 doesn't look near as good.
No, 6 is no chance, I don't think.
Got a couple of +4s behind him, and Monty and Mickelson. Ogilvy at +5. Harrington has already missed his par putt, so Harrington sputters down the stretch with 3 straight bogeys, and that one, we'll see what they end up, but if they end up at +5, Furyk will think about that one for a while.
Yeah, the putt at 3 putt at 15 and then that putt at 18. Those were the 2 key shot, sort of missteps by Furyk.
Harrington at +7. Looks like he'll have to wait another day for his shot at a major. And Monty waiting on the tee at 18. We go to the tee, a hole back with the man he's tied with, Gary.
Mickelson with the driver once again. You see the big Norway spruce here about 100 yards off the tee. That's what forces the players to try to shape the ball from left to right.
Didn't have to hit a driver.
Oh, that's way in the rough. Oh my goodness.
That driver, I'd be going with the 4-wood if I was him at this point, because he could drive it right through the dogleg, couldn't he, if he doesn't hook it?
I would think so, Johnny, and it's got to be easy to turn the ball the direction he's trying to turn it with a more lofted club.
This looks like a nice lie.
Well, this is his 3rd shot, Johnny. He drove it way right, couldn't even punch out to the fairway.
That was a muffy lie there.
Well, that will get hung up, so Ogilvy struggling as well. He's closing holes, taking their toll. We go to 18.
Biggest tee shot of his career, Johnny. This par 4 18, tied for the lead in the U.S. Open. All the disappointments through the years. He's right on the cusp. Mickelson in trouble at 17. A par here might be good enough. to get it done.
He's got a great chance. If he can make 4 here, I think it's better than 50-50 right now that he's going to win the Open outright.
Stop, lady, please. Man, just keep your arms still, please. Thank you.
Just a little bit of breeze, Johnny. His face here, he's got it teed up on the right-hand side, so evidently going to play a cut. What he did, and this one looks good.
Tell you what, Mark, if he can step up and hit that shot, knowing it doesn't fit his shot shape with a championship on the line, hats off to Monty. In the fairway at 18. Mickelson, is he going to let another U.S. Open slip away?
Well, while we were away, Jeff Ogilvy's 4th at the par 4 17th. The line's good. The line's good. Home. What a par.
That's
Ogilvy. He goes on to get into a playoff, Johnny, or have a chance to win this thing. It's going to be his short game that has held him in there. As we go back and see what's going on with Mickelson, Roger.
Well, Mickelson's tee shot flew into a plastic garbage bag on the side of the fairway, garbage can, and came to rest inside the garbage can amongst the beer cans. And of course, he's gotten relief from that. He's dropped the ball immediately underneath the spot where it had come to rest in the garbage can, and has a reasonable lie in the hard pan.
What about the trees?
Well, he's going to hit a cut, John. I mean, he does have to hit a cut, but he's going to have a lie where he can play a cut, a tight lie. If it would have been in a heavier rough, he wouldn't have had any opportunity probably to do that. But so he's got a shot.
How
There's no question.
How big a cut are we talking about?
Well, you're talking about it'll require a lot of his skill. I'm going to say he's going to have to start it at the right edge of the right bunker and then slice it probably 20 yards or so.
To a very difficult hole location.
Well, and a very narrow green, too, Johnny. It's only about 14 yards across between those bunkers.
Well, he's just trying to make a par, I would think, from here, knowing.
Yeah.
I would think. So, I mean, anywhere around the green, he can get it up and in. He just needs to hit a pretty good shot that's not dead like the last hole.
That's right. I'm sure when he saw where his ball came to rest, he was thankful.
Total 53, 31.
Is that ball above his feet, though?
Not really, Johnny, no.
It looks like it on TV. It's in a green spot that looks like it has some juicier grass. Is that right?
A little bit, but again, it's not bad. Better than he thought he would get. He's got this ball cutting. It's just right of the hole. How about that? Pretty good shot there.
Beautifully played.
He's gotten it up and down from every other place this week at Wingfoot. It might as well get it from a trash can, right, guys?
Exactly.
Let's take another look. See him hold off that club face, keeping it open to make sure the ball fades. And now he does a little Sergio imitation there, kind of hustling up to
his version.
Hey, well,
I didn't see a scissor kick, Gary.
I probably won't. All right, there's another look from above. Just threads it under one tree and slides it by the other.
But we're talking about the guy that got about 3 inches off the ground after winning the Masters for his first major title, right, Gary?
Well, that's exactly right, Dan. But, you know, it's fun to watch him play in those situations. He really plays golf like an artist when he does stuff like that. And Ferry playing his third.
Well, the crowd's starting to get very vocal late in the afternoon here, and it's starting to get to Kenny Ferry a little bit.
Well, it's a very well played shot, and Sure, he's disappointed, but he's really handled himself pretty nicely. Position he's never been in before. Up at 18.
Vijay Singh playing with Colin Montgomery punching out. He's at +8. Mark.
Yeah, he has really finished very poorly. He hooks this one right around the tree, though. It's going to end up short, but a pretty good shot. He actually drove the ball into the champion's pavilion.
There it is, right down in front of one of those big shoulders. And Monty has been waiting nervously out there for this second. Mark, what's he got?
Well, he's got 171 yards. He is on the right side of the fairway, and so is the hole location on the right side of the green. And I don't think he knows exactly how he stands right now.
He's got the perfect ball flight to knock it close to this right hole location at the high fade. And it's a funnel down there. If he can hit a good shot, he's going to get it inside 12 feet.
Well, he's been waiting down there, Johnny, but he's been waiting nearly 2 decades for a major championship. So what's another minute or two here, right?
I'm surprised he just switched clubs when you've had 10 minutes to figure it out.
Shot was that. This one is just a little right of the flag and short, way short.
He said, what kind of shot is that? Right when it left his club, he knew it was off. And he's buried.
I'm really surprised he switched clubs after pulling out the other one.
17.
Lengthy birdie putt for Mickelson.
A little uphill moving to the right, huh?
Is it firm enough? Is it firm enough? No. As Mickelson was walking up to the green, he takes a big look at the big scoreboard. Knows exactly where he stands, and it's like, hey. All right, to 18T.
Jeff Ogilvy alive by virtue of his par saver at 17 at +5. One back.
It's a good drive. It's very narrow down there, about 24 yards wide with an angle. And he's a long hitter, and he's hit a beauty.
Who knows, Johnny? He may not need a birdie here. A par, a +5.
Right in a
Might
divot.
be okay.
Right in a divot, I think. I think it went right in the divot. Just on the front of it, though.
Hard to tell exactly
No,
where.
it went in the divot. It just whether it just rolled out the front of it.
Monty comes up amid a smattering of reaction. I think everybody's just a little.
That was just literally open
amazed.
pressure. Absolutely open pressure. That shot, he hadn't hit an iron like that probably in 5 years. I mean, that was just really bad.
Well, Mark, what kind of lie is this? What kind of shot is this?
Well, the lie is not good, and the other problem is there's a big nose in the front right corner of the screen, so he will be landing it on the downslope and probably trying to run it by the hole and let it come back. VJ's going to play first.
He doesn't have much of a shot. He got, well, he can go around it, can he?
A horn just went off, and the crowd reacts to that. Talk about bad timing.
I think Monty will watch this one very closely to see how the ball reacts on the green.
All right, before we get to the drama at 18, back at 17 for all that is left for another par, Gary, with another missed fairway.
Yeah, well, he got very fortunate. Here, the ball was all the way over into the area where the gallery had walked it down, so.
You know, he has studied the scoreboard and left the screen intensely. He knows how it stands.
Good par at the 71st, and is still 4 over.
Gary, this is one of the greatest Houdini acts, hitting 2 fairways.
I
Mickelson.
can't ever remember seeing anything better, Dan, that's for sure.
All right, Monty from the rough at 18.
It's juicy.
Pops it up and way long.
He might play that the way the ball will come back. Maybe. Nope, it hangs up. Just hit it in the only spots you have no chance. Huh, Mark? Just brutal here. Watch this. Fix it up quick. Watch what happens at impact. He keeps the hands going pretty good. I guess he was playing it way over to the left. But that was a brutal second shot.
Right now, Monty needs another bomb like the one he had at 17, but this for par.
Well, he needs to be just a little careful with the pace on this one too, Johnny, because if you get it racing by the hole.
He needs one of those Greg Norman type of par savers here at the 72nd hole. Norman with that curling 40-footer to get into the playoff.
Dan, he hit the second shot like Norman hit the second shot here almost. Yeah. Norman's was further right.
Speaking of 1984, Fuzzy Zoeller out in the fairway at 18. Norman went long and right with a 6-iron, hit his third to this point, just on the collar there. And the Shark knocked it in to get into the playoff. He eventually lost the next day with Fuzzy Zoeller, but a part of the legend and lore here at Winged Foot. There was Fuzzy waving the flag, the towel out in the fairway. But a lot of historic stuff has happened here, including 1929 when Bobby Jones made his 12-footer. Monty well outside of that here for par.
This one's not going in. This one might not go in for a while. Boy, this is sad.
It is difficult to watch when you think about all the close calls that Montgomery has had. I mean, it's Mickelson has not won this championship either and has been a runner-up 3 times, but this man and all that's happened to him to get this close. Mickelson was just told by the walking score. He asked, wanted to know, and was told that Monty's par putt was missed.
Yeah, what he doesn't know is that Ogilvy is in birdie position, and he probably isn't even factoring in Ogilvy.
And there it is, Johnny. It is right in front of that.
And the worst part of it is a sand-filled divot, which is, he's probably thinking, come on, I got a chance to win the U.S. Open, and I go in a sand-filled divot.
I'm thinking Payne Stewart at Olympic Club. Remember that in '98?
This one's, I think, even worse. This has got a lot of green sand, greenish gray sand in there.
Just a part of the game.
But this important putt right here, who knows what Phil might do? Since he's hit 2 fairways.
Is to put +5 and take the lead in the clubhouse.
Boy, sitting in the middle, or a perfect spot in the fairway, looking at a birdie, making 6. Yowzer. That'll haunt him for a while.
Looks like Colin Montgomery is going to be 0 for 58 in major championships. I mean, he is a modern day Mickelson.
If he could have made 4 here, forget the 3, he had a great chance.
All right, VJ for par. To finish his day with a 73. And then clear the stage for the final 2 groups. Ogilvy out there with a chance here behind him. Singh coaxes it in, and he's got his 7th consecutive top 10 in a major championship.
Yeah, he could have won this week if he made a few more putts. But
tie for 6, VJ. Colin Montgomery will wonder if there'll ever be another chance. That was a golden opportunity. All right. Poulter now back behind down the fairway.
Chewing on that gum.
He's at +9, not a factor. But he's playing with a man who is a factor, Jeff Ogilvy at +5, and look at his position.
Well, that's a really bad break, but he can get on it. He could hit it a little bit at 1 groove down and try to hit a little bit of a cut. It doesn't look like he's playing that shot. close to being pretty darn close to the hole. If that had gone another 2 feet in the air, it would have gone down the hill right next to the flag. That was really 2 horrendous breaks in a row.
There it is out of this divot.
Let's see if he gets sand on the wrong side of the ball when he hits it. Yeah, a little bit, just enough to come up short. Just about that much.
All right, tee shot for Mickelson.
This better be a forward.
Oh, doesn't like this
ball
one.
going way left, way left. Oh, what a bounce out into the rough to the right. But I don't think that'll leave him much.
Off of the hospitality tent.
I'll tell you what, right now Ben Hogan is officially rolled over in his grave.
Well, Johnny, I do believe he knows what score Colin Montgomery made here at the last. The scoreboard to the left of the 17th green, the score went up there, and the fans around the 18th tee started to cheer. So I think he knows 5 wins.
And he's got a bare lie.
He's gone from the garbage can on 17 to the corporate 10 on 18.
I cannot believe he didn't hit forward there.
Kenneth Ferry off the tee now. +8.
Beautiful tee shot.
Just being drawn along with the drama here between Mickelson and Ogilvy.
Yeah, and that ball may be in the divot.
Anything you can detect here, Johnny, from this swing?
It's just a classic. You don't release your right side, left side in his case. Comes down pretty good shape there. Maybe overswung a little. He's late coming into it. He releases probably 3 inches late, possibly because of nervousness and also overswinging. Face is open and out it goes.
Best score in right now is +6. This man Ogilvy is at +5 with a delicate, look at the giant shoulder on that front right portion of this green.
This is absolutely a crazy shot right here, how tough this is. This is where you need a 64-degree wedge. But he could play it. He could do it. But under this pressure, it's tough. Did he hit it?
Oh, yes, he did. Giving himself a chance. Boy, a tough break on the divot.
He put a lot of spin on that ball. He really grabbed the grooves.
One hard-earned 4 for Ogilvy if he's able to get this putt down. And post +5.
Look at, he opens the face, taking a big gamble, and just hits it perfectly. I mean, just a beautiful strike there.
Just the 3rd U.S. Open for the 29-year-old from Melbourne, Australia, who makes his home here in the United States and Arizona. A couple of PGA Tour wins and a big one earlier this year in the Match Play Championship. Considered by many to be one of the stars of the future on tour. And you just saw Norman's exploits here back in '84 here at Winged Foot. Denied so many major championships, heartbroken by a number of miraculous shots at great times in championships. We'll see if Ogilvy could kind of maybe make up a little. Who knows? We'll see. But here's Poulter to play before. While we wait, Roger, what about a report on Mickelson's situation in lie?
Well, it's out where the gallery has walked, so the lie is clean, and he does have some kind of an opening where he'd have to play a high, big slice, but he has the lie where he could try to play it from 210 yards. So let's see what happens. I can't imagine him pitching out, Johnny. I just can't see it.
I feel like I'm watching Seve Ballesteros.
All right, before Ogilvy's par attempt, Poulter for birdie.
This is the Norman putt, isn't it?
Poulter's going to put +9 on the board. 74, second to last group on this championship Sunday at the Open. But there's Mickelson out there, looking up ahead as Ogilvy has a par putt coming up. 74 for Poulter. No birdies. If Ogilvy doesn't make this, it'll make it a lot easier for Mickelson, who could put it away with a bogey.
Well, he's got a hook putt. It's not the most brutal putt there ever was, but under the situation, the hole probably looks like a thimble.
You roar down under if this falls. And it does. +5 is the lead right now. And Ogilvy owns it.
That was a courageous par out of that divot that he was in, the sand-filled divot, and to get that up and in from short of the green was miraculous. And that's good playing. 71, 70, 72, 72.
So a par by Mickelson at 18 can win it. A bogey, we've got a playoff.
Well, I always thought precision golf was the key to winning U.S. Opens, but I guess I'm just getting old.
Well, it would almost be fitting if Mickelson scrambles out of this predicament to put away the U.S. Open, because that's the kind of week it's been for him.
Got a big dog. Let's do it.
Just joined us. Sapar wins the U.S. Open for Phil Mickelson. 7 o'clock here Eastern Time. Wingfoot Golf Club, 5th U.S. Open being staged here. Jeff Ogilvy of Australia has just posted +5 in the clubhouse. The leader there, but Mickelson's 4 could win it here. Tough spot from 210.
Oh no, it's caught an elm tree solid. And I believe it's gone backwards. And he still has got to be in a very bad situation, blocked out from the green.
Ogilvy might be signing the winning card.
Wow, you see the shock on his face right now. He knows he's hit a horrendous shot. Just look at this sullen look right there. It's like ashen look. Looked like he aged 5 years on that shot.
Monty let it slip away earlier. Mickelson
Hey
is
guys,
on the
about
cusp
10
of it.
yards back so I can see the pin, please. That whole group behind the tree. Behind the tree. Get behind the tree.
Does he have a shot, Roger?
Well, Johnny, he's trying to see the flag. For him to play on that line, he would have to keep the ball unbelievably low. I don't know how the shot could work out, really. But it may be all he has. I don't think he can play over the trees from here and get a shot at the green.
Is the lie just clean as a whistle, or is it sitting down? Is it good?
It's sitting down just a shade.
That last shot, did he hit that fat? It sounded like it was heavy.
It might have been. It didn't. He certainly didn't get the altitude on it I thought he would.
I think he was trying to lift it. When you do that, your belly pops out and you hit it heavy.
Traveled about
it is down
25 yards is all it did after hitting the tree.
65 front. Okay. You thinking this or 9? Front edge. You thinking this or 9? Well, that makes it 73 over the false fronts. So I'm definitely not thinking 9 at all. Okay.
So where's he going to hit this, Roger? Right over everything?
He's got an 8 and he's going to try to hoist it up across these trees in front of him. He's going to have to get it up quickly.
Well, Well, he's taking a chance to lose that open out right here if he doesn't pull us off. Doesn't make it through the trees. You know, he's going to lose the open.
Remember, a bogey gets him in a playoff.
He could play for the playoff, you know. You don't have to go for the gusto here.
This the third.
He's playing it forward.
Get up! Well, he's hit it very high, but way left. He's going to try to get it up and in from, well, it's got the front left bunker.
A fried egg in there. It is just implanted in that bunker, and Ogilvy has been watching all of it.
This is a nightmare right here. Absolutely, you couldn't have worse decisions than he's had, I think, on this hole. I don't care who you are. I know you all love Phil, but come on, you just got to make par on this hole. You could hit a 2-iron, 3-iron off the tee, another long iron onto the green, 2-putt, and say see you later. You don't have to run down the last stretch on a white stallion. You know, you can limp in there and say thanks for the trophy.
Well, it is going to be some up and down that's going to need to be mated
when he sees this lie
to get into +5. I mean, it is just an awful lie.
Just crazy shot selection. I'm sure Jack Nicklaus is there in Florida and he's thinking, man, Phil.
Mentioned Ogilvy has been watching. He saw it.
I mean, he's got a great chance to win the Open. He had no idea he was going to win the Open.
Mickelson needs to get it up and down. And if he doesn't, Ogilvy's the U.S. Open champion. Ferry out with his second.
151. Waiting for quite a while for all the hubbub to die down. People crossing around. This is a good looking shot here.
This is one bizarre finish.
You could see that hole location was really in a funnel if a guy would hit a quality iron like that. And Phil, I admire your smile right now, but I don't know how you're doing it.
Mickelson had a 2-shot lead with 3 holes to play. Ahead of him, Colin Montgomery doubled 18. Mickelson looking like that might happen to him, and the man from down under could emerge as the champion. They're going to give him one lift as he comes up here to try to pull off the improbable.
I want to see the look on his face when he sees where that ball is. Man, he got a couple bad breaks on the lies, didn't he? Roger, can you hear me?
Yes, Johnny, I can hear you.
Is there a chance on this shot?
Well, if it were anybody other than Phil, I'd say no.
I mean, is it going to run right off the green, or can he?
It has a very real possibility of doing that if he gets it to the green. It's buried pretty good, all above his feet.
If he lands it just a little close, just onto the green, can he get it close? It's a wild scene right here.
It's pretty loud down there.
It's a wild scene. It's almost like a football game.
It's going to take a hole out from the rough to force a playoff as Ogilvy looks on, getting closer and closer to making it official. Mickelson's going to have one last try. The runner-up at Bethpage in 02. costly 3-putt a couple of years ago at Shinnecock. 99 was the last time he played, and the only time he played in the final group on a U.S. Open Sunday before today, and it looked like this championship was going to be his. Finally, he was going to continue on this march of sorts to either the Mickle Slam or the Grand Slam, but this is one shot left to see if we're going to continue that ride.
You got to be a little bit in shock, Roger.
Well, I would certainly think he has to be, Johnny. You know, I just don't know sometimes when I watch Phil play. I mean, it's always rambling, always gambling. You know, sometimes making bogey's good. You just got to take your medicine.
Well, it's a good time to pull on that wing foot magic that Norman had, that Jones had on this 72nd hole.
Well, feel the thrill. See if he can knock it in.
Jeff Ogilvy survives Wingfoot and wins the United States Open. When everybody came crashing down around him, hugging his wife Julie, a native Texan.
And to be honest with you, one of the worst collapses in U.S. Open history by Phil Mickelson.
You can't forget about what happened to Colin Montgomery as well.
Oh, man.
Came to 18, situated right out on the fairway, left his second shot short, ended up with a double bogey.
He can't believe it. He won. I mean, there was no way that he was going to get any better than a playoff.
Just the second Australian ever to win this championship. David Graham at Merion pulled it off 25 years ago in 1981.
Well, I said at the turn, you better start hitting some fairways, Roger. And you can't win this Open Championship missing every fairway but two.
Well, you're right. I don't know why he didn't throttle back more often and just try to get the ball in play, John. I just don't know why.
Well, I could see that going for it until 18, 72nd hole, but when you in that position, you just win ugly, baby. Maybe I'm Al Davis of the golf world, but
all right. Kenneth Ferry is capping off a little Cinderella week for him. Final group here with Mickelson. Still going to be a high finish for Ferry.
that'll get him in what, next year? And
top 15, Johnny, get into next year's Open at Oakmont.
Yeah.
Top 8 get into next year's Masters. So this is a putt to get him into the Masters. Probably doesn't know it.
No, he doesn't know it.
But it's a big one.
Watch out, he can make a triple here. Not that it's going to matter to him, but
Mickelson for double. And wouldn't you know it, it's going to be another runner-up finish for Phil Mickelson in a U.S. Open. Improbable, but it's happened again. Led by 2 with 3 to play. Play the last 3 holes in +3.
all that momentum he's built up in the last 2 majors, this one really hurts. He's never won the United States Open. He wanted it more than any other. He had it.
4 times a runner-up in this championship. Johnny now tied for the most in history. Ferry for a trip to Augusta. He'll get there.
That's a good story.
Superman belt buckle is headed to Augusta. Ferry doesn't make a birdie in his last 31 holes. And Mickelson's magical ride ends in New York again.
Just incredible. That's the only word for it. I was already gearing up for the playoff after that tee shot.
And Ogilvy, we talked about surviving His +5, 285, the highest score to win an Open since the championship was staged right here at Winged Foot 32 years ago, +7 by Hale Irwin. His father, Michael, at home on Father's Day in Melbourne, Australia, started him off in the game of golf at the age of 6. His mom, Judy, watching as well. It's a happy Monday morning in Melbourne, where Geoff Ogilvy is the U.S. Open champion. Keep it right here. We hope to talk with the men that crumbled around Ogilvy today on the 72nd hole, Mickelson and Montgomery. So there it is, the final leaderboard in the 106th edition, the 5th edition here at Winged Foot. +5 wins it for Ogilvy and his final round of 72 +2. And the big shot for Ogilvy, remember, at the 17th, from just in front of the long stuff, looked like he was out of it for par. And then the tough break he got at 18 when he hit it in the divot. Able to get it up and down to win the biggest championship of his career.